you need the bathhouse.
What's up, Timmy?
That's called a boner.
This is very nasty.
Welcome back to Baby Daddies, the podcast where two himbos, no, scratch that, a himbo and a daddy.
I was like, wait a second, I earned my daddy title.
Yeah, you earned your daddy title. You're right. We're a daddy and a baby daddy, a himbo, recap For the Love of DILFs, season 3. Mario, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. I just got me a new mic, if y'all can hear. Took a little trip to Micro Center, which is now my new favorite store, honestly. Uniqlo, I'm sorry, you gotta go. Micro Center.
I have been telling you for how long? Get your ass down to Micro Center.
You've been speaking the gospel.
Get on down to the Micro Center. They got everything. They truly all your computer needs.
Everything. I saw
They're
so
not
many.
paying us. We're just stands.
No, I'm just a stan, baby. They had so many, like I text you, like all the iPhone gimbals and cages and cameras. I was like, bitch, I'm finna start recording my OnlyFans videos jumping out of planes now.
I'm telling you, you can get everything done there.
What about you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm fab. I am ready to get into this episode because we got, I say this every week, we got a lot to cover. Lots to get into. The episode description, can we talk about this real quick? It says, but this is before I had watched the episode. All I read was an odd couple earns the power to eliminate someone. When I tell you I was geeked, I screamed. I said, "Ooh, I can't wait."
Elimination.
A real elimination. We got it. Robert is back. Top of that. He's talking about, Robert. He's got this nice facial scar. Listen, scars can be hot. If it scars over it, scars can be hot.
I mean, Full Metal Alchemist scar was fine as hell.
Exactly. And I think it's cute seeing the clip of, him coming in through the door and everyone waiting for him and caring about him and stuff. That's sweet, That's sweet. He gets all emotional. He's back. It was a rough ride, but he's back.
I wrote here, he went from the Wolf of Wall Street to the grandma in the ambulance. Oh God, my hip. It's crazy how things change.
Yeah, life alert in DILF Mansion. Down. Listen, when you are a man of a certain age, the older you get, the falls start getting harder. And I'm not saying Robert's up there. I'm just saying as you get up there, the falls start becoming more and more dire,
In my career, I've seen people break their hips on padded carpet, which is crazy.
That's crazy. Terrifying. I always used to be like, what do you mean? Why is it so hard for elderly, or why is it so easy for elderly people to fall down and break something? The bone density just isn't where it was.
Yes.
This is why the Life Alone commercials were so prevalent. This is why you get that little thing around the necklace. Give me an ambulance. We move on to Danny and Victor. Danny's mic is clear in this scene. I don't know what if he positioned.
They gave him a Yeti too.
Different. Yeah, they gave him the Yeti Nano. Something about this. He sounds so crystal clear, and he's talking. Victor's like, "I've been thinking about you and this, that, and the other," and they finally kiss. But when I tell you, a peck, bitch, that's the kiss we get.
I wanted tongue down throat. I wanted Victor's tongue to reach this man's stomach. That's what I wanted, a Venom type situation.
Well, we know they're against jumping down tonsils, so
you're right. Victor, don't just do that with anybody.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a full makeout sesh, but a couple kisses or something, and they kiss again at the end of the scene. In the confessionals, Danny is laying it on thick. My big, strong daddy, Victor, defended me. Oh my God. I'm like, girl, we get it. But she's laying it on a little thick. I'll say that. And I never noticed this, but Danny has really cute light brown highlights.
They are really cute. I enjoy seeing him in the confessionals.
Let me get some light brown highlights,
Okay.
But yeah,
Beyonce honey blonde.
Yeah. Dr. DILF says that he thought Victor being a poet was a lie. And he calls out all the himbos saying that they're all models, which I was like, yeah, why does everyone, and this isn't just this show specifically, this is just kind of the world writ large. Did you get one photo shoot? They put model in that bio.
Why are you calling me out like this?
No, listen. I support all aspiring models. You know, I support, but it really is one photo shoot. Model hits that bio.
Not
Model
wrong.
hits that bio. We move on to a morning elimination. Kind of bonkers.
David hasn't even had his coffee yet, and someone is leaving DILF Mansion.
Somewhere Justin is still uncaffeinated during the morning elimination.
Oh my god. Oh,
It's
Justin.
I know, I miss him. This is Himbo's choice. Pretty standard. Goes how you think it's gonna go. Samuel chooses Robert. Jay chooses Tony instead of Foxy, which is eh, as expected. We went over this last episode. You know, when
Yeah.
it comes down to either the one that you can eat the ass or you can't eat the ass for Jay, it shows you the one you can eat the ass.
The one you can gobble, you know?
The one you can gobble up. Timmy chooses Nicholas. Steph chooses David, and Foxy heads out with a big heart and an even bigger penis. Amen for that.
Mm-hmm.
I salute.
I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
mean,
sure
I
you
always
can.
want to see it.
Listen,
Nope.
I got a himbo for you. He may be a daddy, but I got a himbo for you, Fox. His name is Mario. He's waiting on you. He's waiting on you.
I'm right here. Whenever you come to Chicago, let me know. I'll treat you real good.
Mm-hmm. And you know, y'all both got that Southern charm. You know, New Orleans, Texas. Like there's
We could put some good sayings together, like the goose and the geese and the gander, and then what's the sheep to a fox. We could make something.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Give me more.
My boyfriend gave me the weirdest look when I told him, what did I say? I told him I was describing, I smelled something, and we were on the couch yesterday. I was like, I smell something. He's like, can you describe it? And I was like, it smells crisp. And he was like, how does it smell crisp? I was like, it's like sharp.
Oh, I get that.
See,
I don't think that's a
okay.
Southern thing. It smells crisp. Things can have a sharp smell to them. It's called sharp cheddar for a reason. You know what I mean? Like some things have that like bite to them when you smell them. Like bleach.
From California,
Bleach or
he didn't
ammonia
get it.
has that kind of like. It smells like this. It smells flat. And
It
it's
smells like
sharp.
cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Dead ass. Ain't no back talk.
We
Victor,
get a new himbo.
well, yes, but before that, Victor, and this is some deep foreshadowing. Victor says that seeing Fox leave and not being able to be with the person that he saw himself going to the end with tore him up because that could be him. Foreshadowing, right? We get the new himbo, Adonis, the Cuban puppy, an entertainer and dancer from Miami. What do you think about him?
He fine as hell. I mean, from Miami, I done seen them housewives. They get crazy over there. I was watching this with my boyfriend, and then come to find out, he was like, wait, I think I know this guy. Pause the television. He goes through the storyline of like one of Mix Toto's drag daughters, who is his friend, got him like front row tickets to one of their shows in Miami. And he showed me his Instagram page, baby. The heels, the popping, the dancing. It was
so she's a
crazy.
dancer.
A dancer.
I haven't looked at her Insta yet. Well,
you gotta see it.
I will be checking it out.
We'll be dropping it right here.
Do you like Miami?
I've never been to Miami. All I know is that they got housewives, they got accents, people love to fight, and it's expensive. That is all I've heard about Miami.
I hate Miami.
Oh,
I hate Miami. I'm so sorry.
It.
Listen, I'm waiting for someone to take me on a Miami trip and prove me wrong and show me the good of Miami. I hate it. I think Miami
what makes
is a
you
place.
Hate Miami?
I think Miami is a place you go to be seen. It is not a place you go to enjoy. That being said, I did have a great time on the beach because it was a full moon and we were nude in the water. You know, like summoning the spirits and shit. It was real witchy.
I love.
That being said, the rest of Miami is a place to be seen. All the clubs are super expensive. They got like dress codes and shit. And you just kind of go out to be seen and dress nice and stuff, which can be fun if that's your just, that's on you. For me, I want to go out. I want to have a time. They went to this one club. It was just the whole thing. We can't get into it right now. Point is, I did not like Miami. Miami and I were not cordial. But speaking of not cordial, but they ended up actually being pretty cordial. Adonis and Jay know each other from when Jay lived in Miami, allegedly. Allegedly, this is
Oh,
kind of like
allegedly.
it might be a Mariah. I don't know her situation. We're not too sure
Ooh.
yet. And one thing here is Steph sees Adonis and is like, evidently, I need to do better on my body. Blah blah blah. I was like, bitch, shut up. You're studying. Like, look in the fucking mirror. This body dysmorphia
Oh,
running
wait.
rampant in the
Is this
gay
a reference to the
community.
substance?
Girl, you know, when we get the gay substance,
Oh,
yep, it's
I
just
can't do that. Never.
it's just steroids.
Uh,
That's
I was gonna say
the gay
ketamine.
substance. The gay substance. I'm not saying Adonis or Steph Ross. That's that.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
no, no, no.
realized that's not what I meant. I meant the gay substance as a film would involve just basically steroids and ketamine. You know, this is what happened. This is why we have to stop talking about the substance. This
Okay,
is on
you know what?
you.
We're leaving it
This is it. I
until we see
swear.
Wicked.
Well, Adonis chooses Tony, which puts Jay in an odd situation since he knows Adonis allegedly, and you know he had just sent Fox home just to have Adonis choose Tony. You know, I don't know what this history is, but I have about half a mind that Adonis was like, "No, who's Jay talking to? That one? Give me that one. Give me
You
that
think
one."
so?
No, not
A
really,
little.
because I would say that if he said I know him, but he says apparently I know him and didn't realize he knew him until after Jay said, "Oh, I know him." And then they said that, "Oh, they hung out." The history on this is very murky.
It's very murky. It's
Very
very
murky. The beef
lots
seems
of
stale though.
allegedlys.
It is a lot of allegedlys. It's that thing where it's like, you know, where gay men hate each other, but you don't know why they hate each other. And then if you really ask them to bottom it out, like if you ask them to get to the bottom of it, right? You start opening up the reasons. Why do you dislike this person? Why? They realize at the end of the day, they don't actually hate this person. They were just being catty for no reason. They didn't know why they did that. You know? I think it's one of those situations. But I don't know. I don't know the history.
You know what? I think we need to invite them both on and then just give them the floor. Like, you know what? No,
Well,
we can't do that because they always say never ask gay people how y'all know each other. Ever.
yeah, it's like a woman her age. Don't ask a woman her age. Don't ask a gay man how he knows someone else. You know, they start axe throwing. The only thing I have written here, I have a couple things. We're doing axe throwing this quickly after a bodily injury on set. That's what we're doing.
You know
I
what?
just,
I might have to call OSHA.
it's not even that. I would have been like, okay, well, maybe we save this for another. You know, I'm a little nervous. Put a barrier up or something. Adonis is just a little too good at axe throwing, whereas Daddy Tony is bad at axe throwing. Now, normally, this is that part of the date where you're like, oh no, you know, let me show you. You do it like this. You get
A little
behind
ghost
them.
moment. Like,
Yeah, you do something like that. Adonis does not take that point. He does not. He just says, I'm good, you're bad. Boom. Which Tony's like, well, this isn't really helping his case. Tony already like isn't really feeling the date because he's Team J, you know.
mm-hmm.
But Adonis gets shirtless. He touches a little ab. Yeah, that's it. Aside from that, it's a very fine, passable date. You know.
Well, I have here Tony did bring up about people he's dated in the past who were basically star fuckers because they
Oh my
wanted
god,
him
yeah, I
because he was
forgot
on
about
TV.
this.
I related to that a lot because I've definitely met some people who have like only wanted to interact or hang out with me because of the OnlyFans content, like not get to know me as like a person. So, Tony, I get what you were saying completely. It's frustrating. I get it.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
work. I've had people buy me shots because they listen to the podcast, but I feel like that's a net positive. I don't know.
Yeah, like you got something out of that, but you're like, girl, you just want to fuck me. Like, but you don't even want to play
Yeah.
Overcooked? Nothing? Okay.
Damn. Overcooked would stress me out. If I'm playing Overcooked on like a first date with someone, I'm gonna end up hating them.
I
Because
need to see how they react in stress.
you're not going to be serving the food how I want to serve it. We all have to delegate different options. And then who's going to be washing the dishes? You know, like for a first date, no. It's like playing Mario Party on a first date. You asking for trouble.
Ooh, no, that I wouldn't do. Mm-mm.
You're asking for trouble on that one. So then Adonis gets into the allegedly knowing someone from Miami. I'm like, this, you know, we've kind of
The
hashed
murky
that out.
waters.
It's murky waters. He says to Tony, I like your vibe. And then they have that little, I'm a sucker for a nice smile or whatever. I'm a sucker. ... In general.
Pause for effect.
Pause for effect. Adonis is funny. He's a jokester. He's a
Hmm.
jokester.
I love a
But
good suck joke.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, sucker. I barely know her.
I knew it. I knew it.
Of course. Back on the blue couch, Adonis comes in, gives out some hugs, and Jay says, well, how was the date? He says, oh, it's good. And then basically Jay's like, I'm not threatened. And Adonis says, are you okay? Do you feel some type of way? Which is a hilarious way to phrase that. Do you feel some type of way? Because it just is inherently shady.
I want to see them go at it. Not in like a mean way, but like just seeing them just go back and forth. It's so good. They got
And
banter.
this feels very that because Jay's like, I'm not threatened. And then in confessional, Adonis is like, well, he told me he wasn't threatened. So I guess we're okay. I'm like, girl, he's shading you.
Maybe it's different in Miami, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my God, my Cuban came out. Maybe it's different in Miami, you
Oh,
know?
Miami. I think that's the other thing I don't like is the accent. No, I like a Cuban accent, but it's just something about the Miami way they speak. Everything is a question. Everything is a question.
Oh, you would hate Real Housewives of Miami.
Yeah, I've
You
seen an
would hate
episode.
it.
I said I can't do this. Thank you. I can't. But I also can't. I can't do like the West Coast accents. I just can't do those either. Listen, tri-state area. If it ain't New Jersey, New
Mm.
York, I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
I want to hear internet, water, coffee. That's it.
Oh my God.
Dog. That's all I want to hear. I said the beef is stale. The beef is stale. These girls are not. They don't hate each
Yeah.
other. It's fine. It's whatever. We get yesterday's challenge, Redux, Roman Reloaded, Pink Friday 2, limited edition. Production said, we're getting our money out of these damn kayak rentals. We're getting our money. And listen, I'm not going to hate it. Do it. So they have to run or they have to boat. No, we're not running. No, too soon.
No,
There's
no more
no running. They're walking to the boats. Timer starts. They have to go grab some underwear, boat back, call it a day. There's no mouth to mouth. There's no auxiliary steps. There's too much last time. This one, it's easy. Daddy with the best time. Himbo with the best time. Team up to send a Himbo home. This is diabolical.
This is very nasty. They have never done anything like this in the show before.
I love it. I want more.
Mm-hmm.
I want more of this. This was foul. And that's what I want.
They said an odd couple, so could be anybody. Because Stormy said it's not necessarily people who have a romantic connection. It could be anybody.
It could be anyone. Yep. Which, this is great because it makes you have to win this, and it's the double-edged sword because you want to win to ensure that you're not going home. However, you got to send a bitch home. So unless you have a pre-established alliance with another Himbo or daddy, the only way to keep yourself safe is to win this challenge. Soon as we start, Timmy and Samuel paddling their asses off. They are paddling. And the thing about this challenge, I realized half these bitches don't know how to use a kayak.
I don't know how to use a kayak. I also can't swim. So like this challenge definitely would have been a challenge for me.
Okay. I'm decent at it. But it's not about like how deep you go in the water. You want to do like kind of a shallow thing. You basically want to glide over the water. You know what I mean? And you got to keep yourself straight. So you do like two this way. It's more about power and less about speed. You know what I mean? And a lot of them were just kind of like floundering as fast as they can. But if you watch Timmy and Samuel, the way they're doing it, it's like they're still hustling because they want to win, right? But they're like really pushing back. Timmy blacked out as soon as he kayaked across the lake. That is killing me. Stormy said, I don't think he's ever focused on something this much.
Shady.
Well,
Shady Stormy.
But you better work. I just have right here, poor stuff. Diva, he tried.
he was trying. I wrote here I could watch Samuel paddle like up and down any lake all day, every day.
Oh
Baby, you could
yeah,
row my boat.
road
Direct
team.
quote. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jay said he's going straight for the first time ever.
Congratulations. Yeah, I just in these I took down all the times because I thought this was interesting. The worst himbo was still faster than the fastest daddy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Team Daddy, David wins with a time of 1 minute and 29 seconds. Coming in second is Nicholas, 1 minute 31 seconds. Then Robert at 140. Victor coming in at 2:06. And then Tony with 2 minutes and 50 seconds. On Team Himbo, Timmy wins with 53 seconds. Jay is at 59 seconds. Samuel is at 1 minute 2 seconds. Adonis is at 103. Danny's at 111. And Steph is at 122. So even with Steph struggling as much as he did in the water, he still was faster than the winner of Team Daddy. Bonkers.
Timmy under a minute? That was crazy when they showed the time. Baby was booking it.
Listen, I think the Twinks had it made this match, right? Less
Mhm.
body mass, gliding across the water faster. You know, like I really think it kind of is in their favor, which I mean, yeah, he just flew across that water. So Timmy and David have to get together to figure out who goes home. I said, this is cosmic poetry. Cosmic poetry.
Poetry. Speaking of poetry, Victor said David is a bitch.
Uh-huh.
That's it. Just
It's a bitch.
Tony said prepare for a power trip. So who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
Because Daddy Tony got that wisdom. He knows.
You know, he said there's a lot of characters, you know. This is where the characters come out. This is where the but I think if I'm Daddy Tony, I'm not worried because Jay isn't really on their radar like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially with what happened last night. Danny and Victor are the ones that are shaking in the boots. And mind you, everyone else is still nervous because a strategic play could take out Jay or could take out someone else, you know. But I think top of mind for David and even for the rest of them, I think is to get rid of Danny. You know, and I love a shit stir, but sometimes you shit stir too much, you shit stir too fast. Bitch.
Now it's splashing back at you.
It splashes back. Exactly. And that's it's all fun and games till the shit splashes back in your face.
After the challenge, we get Samuel and Robert talking by the tree. You know, they have to have their moment because Robert's back from the hospital after his grievous injuries.
Are you coming to the tree?
I don't know that one.
It's the Hunger Games.
Oh, I never seen Hunger Games.
Oh my God. But you need to put down the substance to get onto the Hunger Games. They're
okay,
not,
you know what,
they're not like perfect films, but they are fun to watch.
I mean, that's with Jennifer Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I do love me some J-Law. She slid on her pussy through that elevator for us, the X-Men. So, for here, I wrote for their little date moment. Robert is back. Samuel is glad because he knows where home is. I got to it first.
I wasn't even thinking about that in this situation.
I think he honestly did say the words like home, where is. Like, I think if you put it all together, you can. He knows where home is.
Okay. All right. the thing I have written here, Robert says, let me lobby for you a little bit as far as, you know, keeping the himbos in the house. I said down with Big Daddy lobbyists, not Rob Pack.
Oh my God. Okay, that was good. That was a good
down one. With the lobbyists. Down. And then they start kissing. Hot and heavy. Looking good.
Jesse Ware.
We got to get into this Himbo's hole because
that's not the first time you said that.
No, and it sure as hell won't be the last. I'll tell you that. In the Himbo's hole, so much happens. I literally have like a full page just about this. First off, twink representation.
We love twinks. Yay.
Yeah, shout out to the twinks. Amen for Timmy. I said this has got to be hard for Timmy to decide which, because he really, you know, it's one thing for the daddies to decide what himbo goes home, you know what I mean? But the himbos really like they all, I'm sure, get to become really good friends, and those are the people that they spend so much time with. That's got to be tough to decide which one to send home, you know? Which, of course, I have written here the easiest way is just send Adonis home since he's new. But any other decision is going to have dividends for both sides of the house. We get a couple more flashbacks to the Danny and David fight. I said, we're really getting our mileage out of this fight, girl. And then
They spent a lot of time filming that, okay? They're going to use the footage.
as you should. Steph says that the universe is trying to keep him and David together. I said, wow. I said, life
That's some shit I would say.
on the line. I said, wow. But I do like, and I think this is, Steph is starting to endear himself to me a little bit more because I am enjoying that Steph is so ready to defend David despite what anyone says and is, he might be misunderstood, but I get him. And, I think that's very sweet. I think that's cute. That is much better than the vainness of that we got in the first couple episodes from him. But
that's his man. He gonna stick beside him.
Yeah, but as soon as I get to complimenting him, what does he do? He goes over to Samuel and says, "I come to you as a woman."
Oh my God, this moment.
I come to you as a woman. Steph says that the first thing that gets me, he says things with him and Robert have ended, and he's happy that the three of them, he's talking to Timmy, Samuel, and himself, can move on with their new partners, Nick, Robert, and David. And Samuel's like, yes, of course. But then Steph says, I've been holding on, this, and this messy situation. I don't want a messy situation, blah, 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 blah. So what does he do? Starts a messy situation. Steph says that he had a talk with Robert where Robert said that he was going to choose Steph. And then he says, Robert told me that he doesn't see anything furthering with you and that he wants to continue things with me. What?
I was gagged. I had to pause it, rewind, and just see the whole moment again because
I watched it 3
what
times.
the hell?
I just kept watching it. I was trying to wrap my head around this. I said, this is crazy. This is great. And this is right after the scene we have with Samuel and Robert. So I was really gobsmacked with it, right?
And then to make matters worse, production rolls the tapes.
Rolls it back. And we cannot hear the audio. How convenient. How convenient. And I've really tried to intelligible. I tried to, I tried to un the unintelligible. I tried to make it telligible.
Okay.
That's not the word, but
put that on a shirt. I want to wear that.
I tried to make it telligible because I was trying. I watched it back like 4 times, getting closer, up in the volume, really trying to hear what was said. I couldn't figure it out.
But it's not about what was said, but what do we see?
Yeah, they kiss, which is fine. I mean, gay people kiss it. You know what I mean? It was not like they were making out. The kiss was like, it was the same kiss that Danny and Victor had. No shade. No shade.
Allegedly.
The thing that kills me here is Steph says, I don't want to keep you in this delusion. But then he's like, oh, not a delusion. But the thing is, when you're having conversations like this, and I say this all the time on Poison Touch, there's things like this where you have to be really intentional with the wording that you use because sometimes people will zero in on the specific words that you use, right? So if this had blown up into a full fight, Samuel could have just been like, well, you called me delusional. And people sometimes will ignore the rest of the situation to focus in on a specific word that you use. Like this has happened a lot of times. People have written in about having arguments with family members, like calling them ignorant or something. And it's things like that. Like you say someone's ignorant, no matter what the rest of what you say, no matter how good your point is, all that person hears ignorant. So like really, you say delusional, all he could hear, delusional. The rest goes out the window. Bitch, you called me delusional.
Heated moment, reality TV. That's probably what I would have thought. Like, okay, first of all, you're rolling in on my man, and then this bitch just called me delusional. Excuse me?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, why would you even say it like this? I wouldn't have broached that word at all. If you have to have the I come to you as a woman conversation, you do not call the other person delusional. That would have set me off. Anyway, Steph is using this to clear the air about Sam allegedly not being aware that Robert is doing stuff with Steph. And remember, we were doing the math last episode. The math was a math thing. but we see Steph and Robert kiss this episode. So if the math wasn't math in last episode, it can math this episode. So that kind of fills it. Who was maybe kissing last episode? But that's neither here nor there, because Samuel does say he's not really bothered by interactions between the Himbos and daddies. He's like, I'm not bothered by that. You know what I mean? That's whatever. Production asks Samuel, did you believe him? And Samuel says, yeah, because when I meet someone, why do I have any reason to think that they're being untrustworthy? Now, normally, I think that is a noble cause. Amen, props to you. However, we are on a reality competition show with $10,000 on the line. If there was ever a time for someone to be untrustworthy, that's the reason. Bitch, you trying to get that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't argue with $10,000. I'm sorry. That would definitely be a reason to lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Sam, not super bothered by it yet. Says he's going to fact check it. So you get to the source. We're not dealing with the Liza Minnelli lies, Did you believe Steph at this point?
I wouldn't believe Steph. It just sounds too, I don't want to say radical, just too unbelievable. It sounds too fantastical. I don't know. It's just something I've been holding on to the secret for a while, and then this is it. He's choosing me and not you. It just seems like so out of nowhere.
It does seem really out of left
field. I wouldn't believe it. And the bitch called me delusional, so no, I don't.
And the bitch called me delusional. So we move on, and Samuel and Robert have a conversation. Samuel's sitting down on this couch, and it's like, come into my office, let's talk.
I've been waiting for you here at home for you to get off work.
I was waiting for you at the door. I'm gonna be direct, open, honest. 3 words we love to hear. I like that Samuel does this. He presents the facts. He doesn't raise his voice. He lays it out and says, Robert, take the floor. This is debate tactics. I like this. Because he could have just been like, bitch, I'll put salt in your fucking wound. You know what I mean? Like, I will salt your face when you're sleeping. He could have done that. But he said, no, I'm going to give you the facts. This is what I heard. Take it, And Robert says those words didn't directly come out of my mouth. And I think that is very coded. This is like lawyer talk. You know what I mean? I have specific here. This is lawyer talk.
That's literally what I wrote. This is lawyer talk.
This is lawyer talk. This is those years of training. You know what I mean? This is that business training coming back to him. He says those words did not come out of my mouth. That's not what's important here. What's important is how Steph took it. You know what I mean? So whether that was implied or not, that's the important part. Further down the line, Robert clarifies that he said he may have chosen Steph as a rower because he looks to have the upper body strength. Little did he know, Steph is terrible in the water. I'm not sure who I believe here. I don't fully believe Steph, but I also fully don't believe Robert. The way he's speaking is the way that someone who's lying is speaking. You know what I mean?
That's not specifically what I said in that situation, but I don't know. It's more murky waters, honestly.
It's more murky waters.
It's such lawyer talk. I don't feel comfortable after hearing that.
Yes, the way he's saying it is not reassuring. The other stuff he says is fine. Like, I think it's too early in this competition to make the decision for anyone. I haven't even told you that, so why would I have told him that? That stuff sounds better, right? But specifically those words did not directly come out of my mouth make it sound so much as if like, well, that's not what I said in so many words, but it could have been implied. You know what I mean? That's the part that I just really am like, I don't know. But Robert gives Samuel, the confirmation that he does want to continue spending time with him, as we saw in the earlier scene. And that, I think, is to me the biggest thing that is like the glaring flaw in Steph's situation, because we have had so many of these scenes with the two of them together alone talking about how much they want to continue spending time with each other. For Steph to be like, well, he doesn't want anything with you. He wants to marry me. What? Listen.
I don't get it. It's just...
I'm not saying delusional. I'm not saying delusional. But we can't prove the audio, so we have no idea. I
We
bring here, I
can't.
said this is just like Death Note Killer Within, the Mafia-esque game where you have to try to get to the bottom of who's lying and who's killing people. I said, wow, available now on Steam and PS5. Crazy.
Wild how that happens. I think it's the free game of the month for PlayStation now that I think about it.
Not anymore.
Hmm.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, it was last month.
Damn.
Last month, I know. I mean, you could buy
Well,
it
it's
for
a
like
good thing
$5.
it's a good thing I have it and you have it, so
Oh, yeah, let's play it. Let's get into
interesting.
it. Yeah. Do you believe?
Do you believe?
Do you believe?
Uh, I don't know. As legendary drag queen the Vixen would say, no, too vague.
Too vague. It was too vague.
Too
Yeah,
vague.
100% too vague. Next up, David and Timmy are talking about who they're going to send home. I said they're back, and they
A
seem
table
actually
do
really
turn.
friendly here. This is cute. They seem like they seem like friends,
Mm-hmm.
which I think we talked about with David last episode. During the interview, like sometimes you meet a sister, you may make out a little bit, and then you're like, wait, actually, no, that's fam. So they talk about potentially sending home Adonis. That'd be the easy route. But then he says, what happened with Danny yesterday, considering Danny, because of that fight, taking out the one connection that's been here since day one. And I thought about it, I was like, oh, wow, I guess I really have been here since like episode 1. Everyone else has swapped at this point at least once.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we wanted to see. It was people swapping. So
Yeah, I love a good swap.
mm-hmm. And Timmy's like, I see where you're coming from, but I think you're mad Danny called you out. You know what I mean? Listen, I'd be
Not
mad
wrong.
too. I'd be
I
mad
would
too.
be mad.
If Danny
I'm trying to get mine and you call me out?
if I got called out the way Danny called me out, telling me I'm putting jumping down people's tonsils, it's one thing to call someone in. It's another thing to call someone out, But this is reality TV. This is reality TV. But David's like, really like, no, strategy wise, I swear there is strategy here. And I'm seeing the strategy. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the couples you want to take out.
I could also see David, like, on the side, like, gripping nails into palm, like, it's a strategy. I swear I'm not mad.
Yeah. I'm not mad. It's a strategy. We don't really hear anything from Timmy about where his head at is in this scene.
I wrote that down. He did not reveal his cards, so
which is great because after the break we'll be talking with Timmy. We'll be talking with Timmy to figure out what was tea. Then we move on to the stargazing dates, and I was like, we gotta run through these because really quickly we're introduced to Anthony, an amateur astronomer. I said they went on TaskRabbit and said, "Get me an astronomer now."
They did. I wrote here that the moon is felt like a Getty Images moon. I don't know if it was real.
I mean, the moon do look like that. Maybe who knows? Who's to say? I am a big proponent of things. Sometimes if you add something to your name, you kind of cheapen it. I don't think he needed to put amateur astronomer. Maybe legally he has to say it because maybe he doesn't have like the degree or something to be an astronomer. But it's like if someone says that they're like an aspiring photographer, just say you're a photographer.
I just say I'm a musician. Like,
yeah,
I don't,
because it like cheapens, it's kind of like dress for the job you want. Just say you are the thing, because if you're doing it, I mean, if they paid you for this gig, are you an amateur? You're being paid.
You're a professional, technically.
You're a professional, now. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I had to point that out because I was like, amateur, no, girl, no, or like maybe do like astronomy enthusiast or something like something else.
Enthusiast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. I said Anthony for Daddy season 4.
Hey, you never know. Production, listen to us. Y'all been listening all season.
Yeah, he can shake his little GameStop booty. He got that ponytail.
God, you in this GameStop booty.
Like the North Star, our love is unchanging, or whatever. They like this like weird little line about love. Whatever. It's
Victor
cute.
wrote that.
Victor said, "Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that." They look at the moon for 2 seconds. Then they go, "Bitch, we got work to do." Danny says that there's the Himbo elimination tonight. Freaking out. Sharks in the water. What does Danny say? Shit. I stirred the shit too much. It's biting me in the ass hard.
It's splashing back.
So what does Victor do to him? Go write him another poem. Do you think getting a poem every day cheapens the effects of getting a poem? Does it mean less if you get one every day?
I think it still means the same, but it would impact me less. I'll say that.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
I feel like a poem is a really like it takes time to like write a poem, like write a song for someone, and I feel like doing getting it or seeing it every day would kind of lessen the effect.
yeah. I do think get it. I think the intent is still there, but I'd be like, oh, another one. And Danny's like, oh, thank you. Get another one. But then they come out as non-binary. I kind of wish they had done this a little earlier.
Yeah, I kind of was wondering the same thing. Like, why wasn't that like an episode one thing? Like, hi, I'm Danny. I'm non-binary. I work with the Gaysian community, and go through all your
Yeah,
accomplishments.
I think that would have been really nice to see like up front, like really standing in that identity and being like, this is who I am. You're gonna take it or you're gonna leave it. You know what I mean? And I could
Hmm.
understand the fear of not wanting to come out for fear of like being rejected or whatever. But I feel like especially with a writer, somebody you would hope you can. Victor feels very, especially with how much work Victor does with the queer community and things like that. It
Hmm.
just feels like this could have been an episode one or two type thing. I have right here, Victor says something about like the salts of rivers and oceans. I said, this is the poetry I wanted. This is drama. This is symbolism. Your ass a far off range, mountains plump with gold, me a prospector, pickaxe, and something like that. Give me drama.
This is
This
the poem I wanted to have read out.
this
Like,
exactly, and this is the one they didn't read out. I wanted to know exactly what this poem said because this one sounds dramatic. I
hmm.
love that. We move on. Oh, Victor kind of says I love you, but he's like I love you for you. So it's less of like I am in love with you, but he just says kind of like I love you for you and I accept you to Danny, and that's fab. Tony and
Hmm.
Jay get to talking. I wanted to know your thoughts on this as someone who is in an open relationship because this kind of made me feel a little. I was confused.
I was. If I was Jay in this moment, I would not have felt very comfortable, I guess I could say, because as Jay brought up at the prior episode, he had like an ultimatum with his past partner because he either had to choose the partner or choose the porn. And now it kind of feels like we're getting round two of that with Tony,
Yeah,
where Tony was just like, I'm already compromising an open relationship. I'm doing the bending. I'm compromising on you doing porn. Now you have to compromise. Like, a compromise should meet in the middle. It kind of felt like Tony was coming at this like, you need to give up
you need to
something 'cause
give
I'm
something
already doing
exactly.
something.
Also, an open relationship shouldn't be a compromise. It'd be something that both of you agree on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels like, and also, if you're gonna come in and say you need some form of compromise, you better come with options on the compromise. You know what I mean? You can't
There
just say
were no
you got to.
options.
You can't just come in and say you had to give me something. And listen, we love Daddy Tony, but this is something
Mhm.
that we had to bring up. Like, is it okay, we're open, but you have to use condoms with every single partner you use that you're with that isn't me, like, or is it we carve out a specific time where it's just us and we just, you know what I mean? There needs to be options. You can't just show up and say, well, I'm bending. So what are you gonna do? Because really the benefit for you is y'all are open. So you can get bent over and get your ass ate while
Exactly.
Jay's in Vegas. That's the compromise, is y'all can both do whatever you want. And I understand, if Tony just isn't into open relationships like that. I get that.
Hmm.
But then at that point, that means that
It's
tragically,
just not gonna work.
it's just not going to work between the two of them. You know,
Yeah.
especially
And it makes
because Jay
me.
does porn. Like, you playing with you playing with my money,
Hmm.
with my money. So
And
that's a
like
whole
as
other
someone who
thing.
also is in an open relationship and does porn, like I ask my partner, like, every so often, like, hey, I'm still doing this. Like, are you okay with this? Because it's good to check in, open, honest communication. And, you know, if he said I had to stop, I'd be like, I'm kind of sad, but like that's something okay for us to go forward. But honestly, Jay be making money. I've been seeing his videos.
All
I
right.
would not want to stop that bag.
Yeah, exactly. And Jay's like, well, we can find something in the middle that works for us, which I feel like is a quick way to not shut the conversation down, but like a quick way to be like, what did the housewife say? Let's put a pin in it.
Let's put a pin in it. We'll come back to this, okay?
Yeah, that's kind
We'll
of what it
table
feels like.
that.
Yeah, they're tabling it. Which is fine because I feel like this is a conversation that you really can't get the full scope of on reality TV. This is
Not
something
with
that,
like the 3 minutes each couple was given.
yeah, exactly. Like we would need a longer conversation for the two of them to have this. We get Nicholas and Timmy. Nicholas says, "Wow, the moon is beautiful. That's beautiful." And then looks over at Timmy, says, "You're beautiful." It's like, wow, king. Timmy
That's
says
all I
that,
needed.
yeah, that's really all I needed. But really quickly, Timmy says that he had a breakdown earlier about the situation. So it's really, kind of eating him up, which is sad to see. And sometimes when you're mid breakdown, a bear hug is what you need. A big old bear hug.
Mm-hmm.
We love that. Nick says there's a feeling. I was really expecting a Dr. Dilf boner joke here, and we didn't get one.
Oh.
Nick says that he has sparked a feeling, and I really expected Dr. Dilf to say that's called a boner. But Nick's like, it's not love. Give me a couple days.
Oh.
David and Steph. Yeah. I mean, listen, they got hit me up for some Dr. Dilf jokes. David and Steph get into a conversation about how Steph's like, I understand you. You're misunderstood. I see you. You see me. We see each other. Like I said earlier, this is the stuff that I want to see from Steph that makes him more endearing to me. This is where we get more of that personality and less of the vain kind of stuff we were getting earlier. This is a pretty good episode for Steph, all things considered.
I always say I love a girl who gives themselves their own redemption arc, and Steph did it. Like coming in episode 1, taking daddies, winning challenges, and just like, you know what? No, it's not. I'm vain, but like conscientious, lots of big words, and then I see you and you see me, and I love that. Like I love it.
It's good. I think we're on the upswing with Steph. I feel like I was very critical of him early on for good reason, but I feel like we're coming around. On to the elimination. I was like, everyone is a mess today. Double elimination day gotta be tough. But the therapists on set were getting their work in.
This is why they hired y'all for this. Stormy comes out in this sparkly red, and she's not a red girl. She's usually a blue girl. So I was like, there's something in the air tonight.
The red looks good. And then as we're going into the elimination, I start thinking, I was like, well, I've seen the trailer for the season. I know Adonis isn't going home because we see Adonis later on with the bald explorer daddy, and that's probably going to be in a couple episodes. We know at the very least he's not going home today. Which I ruined it for myself at that point. Anyway, Danny gets chopped and uses their last moments to talk about the connection that they had with Victor and being representation for the community. And, I'll miss my little shit stir. But sometimes, like we said, you stir the pot too fast, you're going to get burned.
Listen, when you do clownery comes back to bite.
Comes back to bite, precisely. I will say, however, it is a little telling. They don't kiss in this goodbye scene. It's just a hug. They don't kiss.
Oh my god! So I had to wipe the tears from my eyes. I didn't even see it because Victor was torn up.
Victor was torn up.
Look at Timmy.
Yeah, Victor was torn up. Listen, it's gonna be rough for him. I fear for him going into this next episode. David talks about how it was strategy. I kind of wish David was like, but also you all treated me like shit. So comeuppance, maybe. You know what I mean?
Reality TV?
Yeah, I kind of wish it was like, yeah, this was strategy. But also, y'all treated me like absolute dog shit last episode. Well, And then we get this scene where Victor's going off about David. He says if Timmy didn't win, David would have sent home Timmy. I don't know if I believe that. I still think if I'm David, Danny is the top of my list. You know what I mean?
Money purposes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He says, oh, you were so in love with Timmy and now you're so in love with Steph. You don't need a reality dating show. You need the bathhouse. This line, 8.
No crumbs. My nachos are gone.
8.
It ate everything.
It was so fucking good. However, what's wrong with bathhouses?
Oh?
You know what I mean? Now, listen, bathhouses are a pillar of the gay community. They give you a place to hook up with a cruisy atmosphere. You won't get arrested. Like if you're cruising in the park, they could be a social place. Listen, the bathhouses here in Chicago were giving out monkeypox immunizations when monkeypox was real big a couple years ago. Anyway, it just is another sex negative comment that we get from Victor that I hope doesn't reflect his own personal feelings, but it comes off in this scene as very much, sex negative. And I just hope that doesn't reflect his own personal views. And this is more so him being hot and heavy and the drama is flowing, I was like, listen, for the love of DILFs wouldn't exist. They were probably organizing in bathhouses, after Stonewall, organizing in the bathhouses trying to get shit started. You know what I mean? Whatever. Bathhouses are important.
They are. I mean, even though my homegirl got pink eye at one when she went to visit, you know what? They're still important.
They are important. The old Victor is no longer, and he's going to meet the new me. I can't wait to cause drama. And that's how we end the episode. Okay, he's Taylor. About to go off. He is about to go off. Wow.
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it.
I cannot wait.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I hate to be that friend that's too woke, but yeah, I was like, as a proud slut, I cannot abide by
the bathhouse slander.
The bathhouse slander, you know what I mean? Listen, I just would want more, It's fine to not be that sexual and not go to them, or it's the same thing as what he said with the equating kissing two people with the, licking the floor on the subway. I just don't think it was like
that was a little
necessarily needed, Mm-hmm. It came off in that same vein. And to me, that's just like, this is just a little just too sex negative for me. You know what I mean? I might be a retired hoe, but I'm still a proud slut regardless.
Victor said it's giving high body count behavior. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I mean, a girl got sent home out of a party crying because they said she had high body count hair. I mean, I'll bring it up again.
Yeah. Crazy. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be talking to Himbo Timmy about his time in the mansion, his decision on how to send someone home, and what it's like to black out while kayaking. We'll be right back. Are you an insatiable chismosa? Do you thirst for drama? In need of some advice? If so, Poison Touch is the podcast to give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments. Join me, Jake, and my friends as we delve into viewer-submitted stories and questions to deliver earnest and sometimes messy advice. Along the way, you're in for some laughs, the occasional tearjerker, and one hell of a good time. Check out Poison Touch wherever you get your podcasts and submit your own stories at poisontouch.com or call in at 312-725-6483 to leave a story and get 3 tarot cards pulled with your advice. Whether you need advice or just want to stick around for the ride, tune into Poison Touch and we got you covered. We're back from our break and we are here with a multi-hyphenate, a social media star, a himbo, a professional kayaker. We are here with Timmy. Timmy, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're fantastic. We are so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
This episode was a big episode for you.
Yeah.
This was big. We had breakdowns, we had kayaks, we had everything. Let's start with the new himbo coming in. Because this is the himbo that you had heard on the boombox in like episode 1, right?
Yes.
What was it like actually seeing him come in? Because I know in the confessionals you're like, oh God, there's more muscly himbos. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I'm the only one that's not like ripped. I'm not like, I feel like a dancer or some sort of like big like performer. All of them are just like pretty ripped. So I felt like I was kind of like, I don't know, just nervous, intimidated. As much as I like to say, like, I'm not that threatened, I definitely in my head am very much freaking the fuck out. So, yeah, I was definitely like nervous, but Adonis is like a sweetheart. So it was such like a pleasure like to meet him and stuff. So
nice. And you definitely like, who cares if you don't need to be ripped because personality eating the bitches
That's
up.
what always wins.
Eating the bitches up,
Literally.
And you also showed everyone you don't need to be ripped to kayak the fastest,
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that you blacked out during this kayak situation. Did you have any inkling that you were gonna win? Like, does the House of Paris give you kayak lessons? Like, what, how did you go into this?
No, I mean I used to so my aunt has like a lake like house that she like has like which is like even further upstate from where I live. So like in my childhood I kayaked a lot, but I haven't probably picked up like a paddle for kayaking in probably about like a decade or so. So I had no clue like what was gonna happen. And like I said, like I blacked out. I had no clue I was gonna win. Like it just brought me back to like I don't know, like gym class when like all the kids like I just totally blacked out because I don't like go into like athletic situations besides like the gym sometimes. So I was totally like, I'm gonna either make like a fool of myself or I'm just gonna like black out and like fly across the
Oh,
water.
you
And
locked in.
You
yeah,
locked
I was
Locked
in.
the fuck in. I said, my God, you were
yeah.
focused.
Yeah, I
Who?
was heavy on it. I was very focused.
Yeah, if you could tell, I was like, wow, you were going in.
Yeah.
Who were you afraid of getting the win if it wasn't you? Like, who were you kind of looking at and be like, shit, like, I need to get this so that blank doesn't get it?
I don't know. So I would have probably been like a little bit nervous. I feel like if Adonis won because he was so new and he doesn't like really have like a impression of everyone so far yet. But then also on the other hand, like in the moment while I was filming the show, I would say I probably would have been scared for David and Steph to win. But like looking back, I don't know if that was like the right way to think, but I don't know. In the moment, I definitely was like, I do not want David and Steph to win because I feel like they would have sent like us home. In the moment, that was my thought. But
Fair, yeah. I feel like any of the paired couples would have been like the ones to
Mhm.
watch out for. Like, oh damn,
yeah, for sure.
Mario, what you got for us?
When Steph came into the room and just dropped the bomb of like, Robert is talking to me and not you, Samuel. Like, it must have just been a crazy moment. Like, what was it like just being in the room watching all that go down? Because I know the camera got a couple of shots of you just like, oh God, like girl, what? Like,
No, I was sitting there, and first when Steph started talking, like, yeah, I'm so glad everything's cleared up now, so that's great. I thought it was gonna be something about me. Like, I thought he was gonna drop something about me, so I'm over here like looking around. So when he like dropped something about like Sam and Robert, I was like, like, good, it's not about me. But also, I did feel for like Sam because that's my bitch right there, and I was like because I feel like Sam at least in the moment in his head like they were so strong him and Robert, so to like kind of be blindsided by that I did feel really bad for him, but I also am glad Steph brought it up on the other hand. But yeah, it was kind of like a bombshell, and me, Jay, Danny, we were all just kind of sitting there looking at each other like this
see,
is so much drama.
Yeah, it's one of those like hard band-aids to rip. Like you want him to say it because it's like the right thing to say, but it also does very much like I
it's
come to you as a woman, and this is it's like
Yeah,
oh god,
It was just, I
yeah,
love those moments in reality TV, like when Hottie put the chicken in the microwave. Like, I want to hear from the other girls. Like, what did you think? Because you're there in the
yeah.
background. It's
no,
like,
the damn microwave, please. I want to take us back to the sushi date because you say that you were going to choose Nicholas regardless. What kind of led you to like after things with David didn't really pan out and you started surveying your other options? What kind of led you into being like, you know what, I'm going to go for him?
Yeah, so I think it was like multiple reasons. I feel like definitely that night in the himbo room. And look, I'll premise it off by saying I totally get that's why we're all here. Is like, talk to people, kiss around, whatever like that definition is for that person. But definitely like in the moment, I feel like you guys said this too on the podcast. Like it was kind of like a step too much for me, especially being like 9 feet away. But after that happens, I kind of like looked at Nicholas and we had like a lot of like conversations like off camera, just like bonding over certain things. Like at the sushi date, we talked a lot about like Paris, Lindsay, Brittany, and like that whole moment, that iconic photo, like we bonded a lot over
mm,
like pop culture. So I just feel like even like that next morning when like David told me that he was gonna pick me and stuff like that, like I kind of just didn't believe it. And at this point, like it is a competition as well. So as much as like I wanted to like maybe try to believe David and go along with it, I didn't want to take any chances. So, and I just saw like me and Nicholas there even like before like the sushi date, we had so many conversations like off camera about like, his kids, I'm very like big on like my niece, like she's like literally a child to me. And I treat her like my own. So there was like a lot of similarities that we like bonded over and stuff, and I really like did like him. So I think after I had that conversation with like David outside, where he told me he was gonna pick me, I was just checked out at this point. Like I was just like, I'm good. And Nick has just been really nice to me. So thought I would give it a shot and see how it would go.
Nice. Good.
I
Yeah,
think I
I
even brought
think
that up. You seemed very just like, girl, okay, like it's
yeah,
going in one ear
great
out the
grain of
other.
sand, girl, grain of sand.
Grain of sand, girl. Oh, literally, I salt isn't good enough. I had to take it with a grain of sand.
Exactly. Um, in this episode, when it is you and David together talking about who to send home, we mostly hear from David. What was going into your like what was going through your head during this decision and leading into who you're gonna send home?
Yeah, I totally was just I went into it and I love you, Adonis, but I went into it trying to do the easy way out and I was kind of telling David like, yeah, maybe we could send like the new guy home. And then, he kind of brought up a good point, like we gotta take out maybe someone that's like one of the biggest threats and stuff like that in the competition. So he really opened my eyes in that sense. And it's just hard when like me and David win and we're not coupled up. So it's like, can't send Nicholas home, can't send Steph home.
Mhm.
Do we want to send the new guy home? Because that's something that's been done the past 2 seasons where a new person will come in and they get sent home either like the same day or day after. So I don't know. I just think there was like a lot of like things going through my mind. I obviously did not want to send Danny home. That was not like in my head, but also again, David did kind of make like a good point. So yeah, that was kind of going through my head, but I was just freaking out because like I love all the himbos. If it was daddies, I would have not have been freaking out. I probably would have like figured out how to who to
Yeah.
send home ASAP, but like I'm so close with all the himbos, so I was so uneasy like with that decision, and I was not thinking about it as I was kayaking across the lake. Like I didn't know I totally forgot what Stormy said, like what would happen if we won and stuff. So it's like once I won and it sunk in, I was like,
Damn.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yup,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Amari, what else you got?
For something a little lighter. So you do your audition tape, you're at home, you get the call, and it's like, hey, we want you to be on DILFs. What was it like? Because I know Paris sent
Uh,
you the voice note, and I'm still gagged over you playing it in episode one.
yeah. Yeah, so it started off like I saw the ad that they were doing like auditions for self-tape. So I made like a little self-tape and it was really like cheeky and it was fun and I just talked about myself and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere because I was just like, oh, like, I'll do it for fun and see. But then I got like the initial text that was like, hey, we want to have you on just like to interview you for like a meeting. And then like it just kept progressing and progressing. And I was like, oh shit, I guess this is happening. And I remember when I got like the first initial like text or email to have like my first interview and me and my mom were literally sitting I think it was like right before New Year's Eve or something like that, and we were watching the season one finale, like the reunion of DILFs. And I was
Mm.
like, Mom, I just
Oh,
got a text from the DILFs people. And she was like, no. And I was like, yeah. And then it just progressed from there. And then less than like a month later, I was hopping on a plane and going to DILF Mansion.
Nice.
Yeah.
love it.
But yeah, I was freaking out. I was nervous because I suffer from a lot of anxiety. But I will say, like, being in DILF Mansion, as someone that gets anxiety everywhere they go, it was the one place like I had no anxiety. Like it was like literally like family. It was the most like freeing place to be. Like, so I'm never around like a lot of people like myself. So it was so just surreal.
Oh, that's
See,
nice. That
who
sounds
needs therapy?
beautiful.
Go to DILF Mansion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take
free
your ass to Dope Mansion. Let's
therapy.
go.
Yeah, therapy and find a daddy
Yeah.
all in
Hmm.
one.
You have some fabulous outfits this season.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Where are your favorite places to shop?
Shein. I know. I got some of my outfits from Shein because it's just like I feel like that's the only store to get like flashy stuff and you
Yeah.
can't wear a lot of brands on the show and stuff like that
Oh,
either.
that's right.
Yeah, so it's like not that I'd wear Hollister, that's like middle school me, but I feel like I don't know, I couldn't go with like Juicy Couture or any of like the clothes like I normally would wear or
Hmm.
that like graphic tees that say like Barbie. Like I couldn't do that. So Shein was like my place to shop for DILF Mansion, and then like accessories. A lot of the jewelry I wear is from Paris's jewelry line. Um, and yeah, I just like to like add like little things, add sparkle, a little pizzazz. I don't know. I just love like good outfits. But places I shop on like the daily, Juicy Couture. I love Urban Outfitters. I love small businesses. I wear the small business. They make a lot of like cute like circuit party like clothes and stuff. So like, the mesh rhinestone tops that all the gays wear and
Yeah.
stuff. I
Mhm.
got that. It's called House of Circuit. So that's one of my places I love to shop. But I don't know, there's a few. I love shopping. I'm a
Okay.
shopaholic.
Okay.
Baby, I love swiping my credit card. Let me tell you.
Yeah, especially when it's Apple Pay, because it feels like Apple's
Ooh.
paying, not even me. I'm
Hmm.
like,
It's not real money, I
It's
don't
just
see. I
Apple
don't see
Pay.
that, right? That's how I feel using cash. I'm like, I listen. If the account don't change, it's not real money. I don't see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it like starting to work with Paris? Because when she did her cooking show, I remember being here when it premiered, and she was making, I think, cupcakes with gloves on, and I thought that was the cuntiest thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, her fingerless gloves. I love them. She
Yes.
calls them her sliving gloves.
Just
Um, we love to sliv. My getting to like work with Paris and like just do like content for her and so many different things has been so surreal because I've looked up to her ever since I was like a kid. And I know that's silly to say, like, because at the time, like, she was just like this blonde bombshell that everyone thought was like stupid. And then she came out with her documentary, and this was like after I was like fresh dropping out of I dropped out of high school to finish online because like the bullying and stuff like that was like really bad. Um, and then shortly after that, she came out with her documentary, and like, she dove into everything she went to when she went to like boarding school and how she was abused, and now she's like standing up to like make like laws and stuff, and that's kind of the stuff I want to do like with bullying is like put more. I don't know if laws are like the word to use, but like rules in place in schools to like prevent this because there are rules in place in the schools, but no one ever like enforces them and stuff like that. So there were like two things that really like connected me with her. And then I started doing TikTok during COVID, and I couldn't think of a name that I wanted to pick. So I was like, I could go with my regular name, like, that I was born with, but then I was like, let me do like a little stage name. So I did Timmy Hilton, started making TikToks, skyrocketed because that was when like the For You page was like popping.
Hmm.
And then probably like 3, 4 months into making TikToks, Paris followed me, started liking my stuff, and then someone from her team reached out to me and they were like, babe, like, do you want to do edit TikToks for Paris? And I was like, say less, like
Yeah.
I will exactly right now. And then I ended up going to college after that for a little bit. I dropped out after like a month, but when I was in the cities, when I like met her for the first time, and this is when I was still more of like a social media relationship and me like, helping edit TikToks and it would get sent to her and she would approve them and stuff. And then one day I was like near my dorm. I was in like the most like ugliest outfit. I was in like sweatpants, tank top, baseball hat, and I see all these cameras like walking out of some building, and it was then Paris walks out, and I was like, "Hey, Paris," and she's like, "What's up, Timmy?" She was like, "It's so good to see you, sweetheart," and I'm over here like, girl, and then she's like, "Let's pose for the paparazzi." So then I'm like standing next to her in like my like under Hanes undershirt, and I'm like taking pictures with her and stuff. And then after that, I would just, I started editing, like I was doing a lot of editing for her, but then she started to send me a lot of her products. So I would do like my own videos on them and stuff like that. So it was just like a lot of like content, like producing, creating, and just working alongside like one of the world's number one like influencers has been so surreal because it also has skyrocketed me into like working for like Sonia Morgan from New York City Housewives, and I've worked for Meredith
Sonia,
Mark.
yeah.
Yeah, Meredith from Salt Lake, Rachel from Jersey. I've just worked for like some of like the coolest housewives that I love, and I just feel like I owe Paris like my existence because she's really helped me in like a lot of ways. So, surreal, iconic. I love her. She's like my fam, and just even getting to play that voice memo like was so cool too. Because she was like, "Use this. You're gonna need it in your back pocket," and I was like, "Hey,
Hmm.
girl." So I whipped that phone out real quick and
The
played
f- the flex,
Yeah,
iconic moment.
that was a good episode on the
it.
flex. Really just let it off the
Yeah,
bat. This is how I'm coming in. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, that's that. I feel like I just talked for fucking too long, but
No, no, I love it. I love it.
No.
It was
I
great.
love
It
stories.
had everything. It had comedy.
Mhm.
It had aspirations. It had a heartfelt moment. You talked about bullying. You gave us the full
You
narrative.
hit everything.
Yeah.
Is this your presidential bid?
I'm
Might
voting.
be.
I'm voting.
Yes. Timmy Hilton 2028.
Yes, 2028.
It's okay. I had to do the math and I was like, wait,
I was like,
what?
wait,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My last question, and this is very serious. Fuck, marry, kill. Getting a poem, being on reality TV, or going to the bathhouse.
I'm gonna kill going to the bathhouse. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to bathhouses and stuff, but I feel like the way Victor made them seem, they're supposed to be very. He just did not make it sound appealing. So no, kill the bathhouse. Um, I'll fuck with getting a poem because like I'll just fuck it, but like I can't marry it because I can't like deal with poems for the rest of my life. Like
Yeah.
I'll, one night stand, and then I'll marry being on reality TV because it was the best experience of my life, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat if I could. So
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mario. That's all you had?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
I'm good.
perfect. Well, thank you, Timmy, so much for coming on and chatting with us. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
yes, it was so good to see you guys and chat.
Likewise, we are so excited to see you
Yes.
for the rest of the season. Where can the people find you? And if you have anything to promote it.
You guys can find me at Timmy Hilton with 2 Y's on Instagram, and on TikTok is just Timmy Hilton. Other than that, I don't really like go on any of my other socials. But yeah, possibly some merch coming soon. Maybe some salt and pepper shakers.
Okay.
Taking it with a grain of sand. Some little products going through my head, so stay tuned.
All right. Mario, where can they find you?
If you want to see me put a poem in my asshole at a bathhouse, you can find me at Booty Origami on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
God, I hated that. that was maybe the worst one we've done so far. I've been Jake. You can find me at Crow Hunk for all my daily stuff, like my coffee and the comics and all that other bullshit that I'm doing. You can follow my other podcast, the Poison Touch Advice Hour, where I give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments over at Poison Touch Pod. That's on Instagram. And yeah, before we leave, I want to ask you both to join me in a song. Amaro, you're so lost. You don't understand.
I was literally waiting for you to be like, the boy is mine. Like, that's what I was waiting for.
No. I didn't drop a voice mind this episode. All right.
Oh.
We'll catch y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.